Dogecoin. What's it doing and why is it going there? Well, the whole crypto market has taken a bit of an upswing in the past 24 hours, with Bitcoin increasing more than 10% in 24 hours and looking like it's up about 15% even. I was talking in my previous video about how we had this bullish divergence right here, and I thought it was probably going to be playing out with hopefully resulting in a higher high here and a higher low. And if we do continue to have a higher high and a higher low here, I think this pump can continue. But right now it's having a well-deserved cool-off. As you can see, this MACD is starting to cross over to the downside. And the RSI is finally starting to have a little bit of a cool-off as well because it got super overbought yesterday. And Dogecoin started heading to the moon after Elon Musk posted this picture of his dog Floki, saying that he's the new CEO of Twitter and he's great with numbers. Also, he has fire style. I looked at all of these papers. Obviously, you can't really see anything on this one except for Floki's signature here. And I was looking to see if there was anything to do with like Doge payments integrated with Twitter or something like that. This is the picture right here that had the most words on it, but as you can see, the paper is pretty much blurred out. It does look like this is Twitter's assets, possibly just a earnings report or something like that. But it's pretty inconclusive, and I'm not really getting any kind of a catalyst for Dogecoin out of the paperwork here on the desk. A lot of people were saying that this was a sign that Elon Musk was going to be integrating Dogecoin into Twitter payments somehow, but I don't really see how they surmise that from these pictures. And unfortunately, Dogecoin didn't even make a higher high here on that pump that it had yesterday. And it actually looks like Floki Inu took most of the pump away from Doge, because it saw a surge of more than 75%. Actually, it looks like it pumped up to about 225%. Jesus Christ. I wasn't invested into any Floki, and I'm not going to be either because this is super volatile and really it's just speculation. If Elon Musk doesn't tweet anything about Floki, his dog, then basically this isn't going to see any pumps like this. And shortly after, something like this is probably going to be seeing a big sell-off. So if I did have any Floki, I would definitely take some profits right now because I don't think there's any more catalysts coming forward in the near future. But Floki the dog here is really cute, and I'm glad that he's the new CEO of Twitter. I'm sure he's going to do a better job than the previous guy. Hey, cut it out. Don't chew on that. That's not for you to chew on, bud. Maybe one day you'll be the CEO of something, Abisu. Yeah. Are you the CEO of the Only Good channel? That's right. The only good the only good crypto channel. And you're the CEO. In other news, Charlie Munger came out in perfect time right before crypto started pumping and said that it was basically garbage. I almost would say that crypto just pumped because he said it was garbage and it wanted to spit in his face. But he's always saying that crypto is garbage, so if crypto was going to pump every time he said it was garbage, then we would all be rich by now. But let's hear what he had to say.
That leads me to this question about crypto that Benjamin writes in. He says, in 2007 at the USC Law School, Charlie said, "I'm not entitled to have an opinion on this subject unless I can state the arguments against my position better than the people who are supporting it." The question is, does this also apply to your Wall Street Journal article on banning cryptocurrencies? And if yes, would you care to share the arguments against your position?
Well, I don't think there are good arguments against my position. I think the people that oppose my position are idiots. And so I don't think there is a rational argument against my position. This is an incredible thing. Naturally, people like to run gambling casinos or other.
I mean, if you thought that people who didn't agree with your opinion weren't idiots, then you probably would think that you were wrong or something like that. Like, I think it's a little bit arrogant to say that they're fully idiots, but obviously he doesn't think that they're right, or else his opinion wouldn't be his opinion. So, whatever. He just said that because he knew it would get a reaction.
Other people lose. And the people who invented this crypto crapo, which is my name for it, and
wow, that was so clever. He like waited for someone to laugh or something. That never came.
Sometimes I call it crypto crapo, and sometimes I call it, well, crypto shit.
Wow, and another zinger.
It's just ridiculous that anybody would buy this stuff. it isn't. You can think of hardly nothing on earth that has done more good to the human race than currency, national currencies. They were absolutely required to turn man from a goddamn successful ape into modern successful humans in human civilization.
But it doesn't need to evolve. Like, we've created the US dollar and that's perfect. And now we've got the master of currency and we don't need any new thing. The traditional finance system runs on really old computers and super ancient code. It really just needs an upgrade. I don't see why he's so opposed to this situation.
It enabled all these convenient exchanges. So if somebody says, I'm going to create something that sort of replaces the national currency.
One of the greatest things about currency in general is that it makes it possible for free trade to happen, for people to be able to actually trade products and goods for services. And now the government wants to take total control over the situation and debase all of the value in the system. So why shouldn't we try to make a new system so that we can actually continue to trade freely instead of just having the government take over all of our businesses and drain all of the value out of the money that we've worked so hard to make?
It's like saying I'm going to replace the national air. You know, it's asinine. It isn't even slightly stupid. It's massively stupid. And
all right. You know what? I've had enough. This guy's brain is totally shriveled up, and I guess he's just ready to die because he doesn't obviously have any more working brain cells. I don't know how his heart even beats. He thinks that just because he can't understand this technology that it's totally worthless and people who invest in it are criminals. Why can't he just be honest and say that the US dollar has worked fine for him up until this point and that he doesn't understand cryptocurrency, so he's afraid of it because it's a new technology? He just wants to talk trash about it, and he doesn't understand it, nor does he have the time to understand it before he probably croaks in his sleep. But I digress. I don't want to discredit everything that this man has to say. He's definitely given a lot of great advice to people out there over the years, but this man has lost touch with what the market is these days. He doesn't understand the technology, and him and Warren Buffett are just invested in Coca-Cola. Will you stop trying to mess up my microphone, little guy? Jesus. At this point, I just think that Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett are against cryptocurrency because it gets them attention, really. People start to listen to them, and people always laugh whenever they talk crap about it. It's interesting, and it keeps them in the public eye, gives them something to talk about, and really just keeps them relevant. Since these guys are already rich, they don't need a way to escape the traditional finance system. It worked fine for them and it made them rich already. But now the system is broken and it's not working for the rest of us, so we have to find another avenue. Charlie Munger will probably never come around to crypto, and that's totally fine. But just because he doesn't understand it doesn't mean that it's ridiculous that anyone would buy crypto.
And of course, it's very dangerous. And of course, the governments were totally wrong to permit it. And of course, I'm not proud of my country for allowing this crap, what I call the crypto it's worthless, it's no good, it's crazy, it'll do nothing but harm, it's antisocial to allow it. And the guy who made the correct decision on this is the Chinese leader. The Chinese leader took one look at crypto and he says, not in my China.
Right there. If he's saying that we need to follow the example of Xi Jinping and do what China does, then he obviously doesn't care about your freedoms, and anything that he says is pretty much discredited right there. This senile old bag of dust wants us to be China, and I just can't get down with that. So while he might have had some good advice for people in the past, obviously he has lost touch, and if people continue to listen to Charlie Munger, then he's not going to leave a world behind that's very good to live in. Right now, credit card balances in the U.S. have increased by $61 billion, and they're at the highest point at from the whole history of this graph since at least 2008. And with 64% of Americans living paycheck to paycheck, it looks like the economy is probably going to be collapsing pretty soon. I don't know how much longer the 1% can continue to hold up the economy while the rest of us continue to suffer, and how long the government can continue to deny that we're in a recession. But obviously people are hurting, and they're not racking up all of this credit card debt for nothing. Also, the U.S. has reached its debt ceiling, and this summer we're definitely going to have to raise it because the U.S. is not going to default on its debts. But where is that money going to come from? Well, the government could cut its spending, and that's laughable because it's obviously the government and they keep trying to push for more wars, so I think spending is just going to go up. Alternatively, they could pull all of the money from taxes, but with the recession looming, or being in full swing probably realistically, where's all of that tax revenue going to come from? Well, it's not going to happen. They're not going to cut the spending from the government, obviously, and there's no way for them to raise revenue with them driving the economy straight off of a cliff. So the only option is going to be for the Fed to buy bonds from the government and continue quantitative easing, printing money, and driving inflation all the way up through the roof. Inflation is not going to come down to 2%, and they're not going to reach their targets before they have to do quantitative easing again and continue to print money, debasing the dollar out of existence and sending asset prices to the moon. I think the markets have probably already started to catch on to this sentiment because there's not really much that the Fed can do about that situation. The U.S. government is going to do what it's going to do, and the only people that can fund all of that spending is the Fed because the U.S. citizen is being squeezed and we just don't have the money to fund all of the stupidity that's coming from our government. There's only one way that all of this ends, and it's going to be the same way that fiat monetary system ran governments have collapsed throughout all of history, including Rome and so many others. We're going to continue debasing this currency until populism rises up and the people just can't take it anymore. Then we're going to switch to a new monetary system, and hopefully that's going to be something run on blockchain. So that way all of the money and all of the spending done by our government can be laid out clearly for everybody to see on an immutable ledger. And hopefully in the next iteration of our monetary system, corruption won't be able to run so rampant and they won't be able to debase our monetary system totally out of existence. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Is the Fed actually going to be able to get inflation down, or are they going to hit a wall whenever this debt ceiling has to be raised? And are they going to have to continue printing, sending asset prices shooting to the sky again? Either way, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and don't forget to hit that like button. Every like button is a treat for this little guy right here. Say goodbye to the only good crypto community, Abisu. Bye-bye. Have a wonderful day, guys. Bye. Oh, hey, I was just being chased by a bear. Watch out. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell too, because I don't want you to miss out on any important updates. And check out this video. Oh crap, I gotta get out of here.